turn off cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. And assisted listening devices are available for the hearing impaired. I'd also ask everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask everybody for a moment of silent reflection, and please keep Bill McMillan, former sewer department worker who passed away, in your prayers. Thank you very much. A few revisions on the agenda. The audit payment would be Councilman Guyben, not Councilman Bax. Under Supervisor Broderick, attorney, under legal, be a hired attorney for a lawsuit, and for grant writing, a New York State Archives grant. Also under Councilman Jacoby, Fire Bureau. And were there any other changes? I think, Bob, under engineering, didn't you want to add?
I was going to request authorization by the board to advertise for bids for the police and park stores.
Advertise for bid. Okay. Anybody else have an adjustment? Anything else?
Just want to introduce the young man sitting
Let's approve the agenda first.
Well, the timing on the historic meeting is 6 o'clock instead of 7, if you want to get down there and go for it.
Okay. Can I get a motion for agenda approval?
Move for approval as amended. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
The young man sitting next to Chief Previtt is Rowan Abadanza. He is assisting us with our filming tonight, and we appreciate his help.
Thank you, Roland. Okay, resident statements. I have Susan McNevitz, 1123 Sweet Home Road. Hi.
Yes, good evening. What I'm here for tonight is a request to have, I just found out today, so I don't have as good a presentation as I'd like to have, but what I'm looking for is a request to have the details allowed for R1 zoning to be revisited. The present situation does not allow for what is called home employment in the town of Niagara. I talked to Chuck Hanley there about that, and the reason I know this is because I have a cease and desist with an Airbnb. So my interest specifically is an Airbnb in an owner-occupied situation, where I live in the house, I share it with my guests, and greet them, and they're there. It's not the ones where you hear all the problems nowadays where they're an owner-operated, but they're not on the premises. And but it's not just that situation too. If you look at it that it's just family residential, someone does transcription, someone does Etsy, ships things out of their home, that is not allowed under the current R1, the current wording of the R1 situation. So I think it's something with how things are done nowadays, so many things online and people working from their homes, that it needs to be addressed. Well, mine specifically too, but it's not just my situation, it should be addressed. Okay, so that's number one. And number one, too, this is my second one, is the complaint procedure needs improvement, okay? For a resident to deal with complaints received. Okay, I put a FOIL request in on the complaint that said I had too many Asians in my house and the police had been there, both of which are a crock. So, checking with both the county and town of Lewiston, we've never had the police at our house ever. And we've had people in our house, when I had it as an Airbnb, we had people from 22 countries plus the US. So we were never a problem. The only way anyone can even know that we have anyone there is there's a third car in our driveway, and occasionally an Uber comes and brings someone home or picks them up. And that's all. So but the complaint procedure is pretty loosey-goosey with not being able to give details. All I was told was, well, I think that's what they said, and because I think that's what they said, you could take that as I wanted it actually in writing. So the original complaint was from a neighbor, and sorry, just lost my track there. So, but I just would like, there was another complaint that came in further on that was totally uncalled for. So I'd like to find out, or not find out, I don't care right now, but the complaint procedure needs improvement. They need to be accountability. So not looking to lose the anonymity that's involved, but just that better details should be kept track of. Okay, I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions or just about?
Could you come here for a minute? Just write down your phone number.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay. I don't want you to say it over that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all. Steve Lyle.
Just an update on the cameras, and they're all just being stored and when it's going to be online and available.
Okay. Okay. I'll have, Bill can address that when we get to your, I'll have Bill address that.
Okay,
Thank you. Anita and Walter Domkowski.
They're on your,
Pardon?
they're on your agenda.
Oh, you're on the agenda, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
okay,
didn't know
that's
you
okay.
did it.
Yep, I'll call you up when we,
Oh,
yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Okay. Anybody else like to speak? That's all I have. Yeah, yes, sir. Just do me a favor, state your name and your address.
Doug Etu, E-T-U-E, 2799 Moore Road.
Go ahead.
We were here for the last meeting on the solar system going in on Moore Road, and it was approved.
Yes.
Okay, now the plans that were shown, when that solar system goes in, it will meet all the codes of the solar system of the town of Lewiston.
Correct.
Okay, because one of the codes is, in our RR district, the total surface area of a ground-mounted solar system cannot exceed 5% of the lot area.
Residential. It's not a ground-mounted solar, it's utility scale.
Okay. Yeah, so it would be a utility scale under our new solar law, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So what is that?
That's the residential law, portion of the residential solar law.
Okay.
That you read.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to get clarified, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Yes, go ahead. Please state your name as best you're reaching up to.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Margaret Beatty. I live at 700 Powell Lane in Lewiston, part of the Lewistown Park Development. This is the letter we received in September 12, 2017 about the project removing all the dead ash trees. It's now more than a year and 4 months later, and I believe the job's been abandoned. Looks like a war zone back there. Spoken with Mike, I called your office, I did back in November, I never received a call back. And we'd just like to know what the plan is, if there is a plan, and when this is going to get completed.
He has promised me he's going to be done by the end of February, first week of March. And I talked to Mr. Deschanel today, and he has not started. So I will be calling him and finding out. Otherwise, we're going to have to bid it out to another company.
So we don't have any time frame when.
He was supposed to be done by the end of February, first week of March, is what he promised me, because this is phase 2 of what he was supposed to. Trust me, your frustration is my frustration. I get the
We
phone
live it,
calls.
see it every day.
Yeah, oh, I know. So does my mother, and I hear about it all the time. So, you know, he's definitely dropped the ball. There's no question about it. So, like I said, I'll be in touch with them this week, and, you know, otherwise we're gonna rebid it out. Mike, do you want to answer?
She's not in phase 2. She's in phase 1. What her concern more is on the restoration side, not so much on, all the ash trees are down around her property.
There's a couple still red X that are dead that are still standing behind the shed, behind the picture. They're still there.
Okay. The one you showed me wasn't an ash tree, it was a, I forget the name of it, we talked on it, but that's besides the point. She's in phase 1.
Okay.
What she's more concerned with is the restoration. Parts of the contract is, unless the branches themselves are over 2 inches or 4 inches, whatever it was, they were allowed to leave them on the ground. Their backyard looks completely different than it did before this project started. They had a heavy density of trees back there. Their property on the backside is going to be fundamentally changed. So what I think they're asking, what they've talked to me about in the past is, what are we going to do after this section of the project is completely over, which we still haven't really discussed as to what's going to happen with the green space after all the trees are down. I'm not aware of the extra ash trees there. We went and inspected all the properties when Ingrid Beaver reported that he was done with them. I didn't see any extra ash trees. So I'll be happy to go back and take a look to see what it is. The one time I was at your property
about all that's laying there, it's still
Yeah.
laying there, it looks like a war zone.
So the last time I was there, we looked at one tree, and we were,
It's down.
that one is down. So
One tree took our tree down and that down.
yeah, because they had one on their property that came down that wasn't an ash tree either, or was it?
Our fell on the house, the shed was, I don't know.
All of her. Well,
Can you reach out to her tomorrow?
But what's important to note is that she's talking about the reconstruction after the project is over. Because as far as Ingrid Beaver's concerned, her backyard, with the exception of whatever trees that she's speaking of now, which that even escape me, aren't part of his problem.
Right.
Okay?
There is no restoration procedure. I mean, we haven't come up with a restoration plan at all.
So there's ruts and there's standing water.
Yeah.
And there's dead debris.
Well, as far as that, we got to work with the highway superintendent, and we're going to go in there and figure something. But as far as getting the project done was first. Any type of, I mean, we're not going to be planting any more trees back in there or anything like that.
Just the cleanup.
Yes.
Cleanup of it.
Yeah.
There's just.
You'll see in the spring as soon as it dries up a little bit. My Parks Farm, we already have plans to go in and try to remove some of those ruts, try to get the water flowing in certain
Yes,
directions.
yes.
Myself and Mr. Train also talked about redirecting that water someplace. I know you have a small little creek or something that went behind you.
What?
Your property. She's
It's
right
now
on
into
the
my
road.
backyard. It's moved into the.
She has like a
backyard.
natural stream that went through it, and this was a point of concern.
Corner like Powell and Mary?
Mary
Powell and
East
East Eddy. I'm sorry.
Powell and East
Powell and
Eddy.
East
Okay,
Eddy.
the other end.
The three houses right on the corner, right on the tip of the U there. And she actually had a natural little like stream of some sort, maybe a little natural drainage flow. That Angry Beaver didn't address any of the trees on the other side of it because they thought that was the property line. So we had to go in and tell them, no, this isn't the property line. This just happens to be a natural little, I don't even know what you would call it, swale. So now once that was disturbed, just like we talked about before, we disturbed all kinds of little, drainage flows and everything else. You're going to have these problems poking up from time to time with a bunch of different
Okay. And you'll reach out to her though?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sit down, we'll figure out what tree she's talking about.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? Okay. Department head statements. We'll start with Donna Garfinkel. Anything? No? Chief Brevet?
Just so the board's aware, we are doing 2 active shooter drills that we have coming up. One with Lewiston Porter, February 15th, and the other is in March, I believe the second week. Well, it's actually March 15th as well with Niagara Wheatfield School. That'll be with various departments and law enforcement departments that we're going to include, and fire and EMS. For the Lewiston Porter one, for the first time, we're partnering with St. Mary's, and they're actually going to be transporting mock victims to test St. Mary's capability as well. So it's going to be a bigger scale in case the board gets any inquiries.
Okay.
We'll let everybody know social media that day as well, because there's going to be a lot of police vehicles and fire vehicles at the schools.
Okay.
That's it.
Tim Masters, anything?
No.
You want to tell us about the training you have to attend for 3 days?
Well, we're getting our training done, our annual training, so
Okay.
that's
Jackie, you're on the agenda. Bill Conrad, anything?
I'm in the same mind melt still state that Tim's in, because we're sitting close to each other in that
Okay.
3-day seminar.
Jeff Ritter, anything?
Yeah, I would like, the Water Pollution Control Center would like approval to advertise for our sludge dewatering project. And we have to coordinate it with the clerk's department, but we'd like to start the bidding process on February 8th.
Okay.
We need a motion for that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Do we need specifics or just?
Just to allow him to.
Go out to bid for that process? I make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anything else? Dan Zano, the head of our water department, can't be here right now because he's on a water leak at one of our sections of infrastructure that is going to be replaced with the 8.3 miles of water line. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and unfortunately it broke down tonight. So he's out there in the cold working on a water break. So Mike, Dashno, anything?
I just have one thing on Rob's, on the old business.
Okay. Okay. Mrs. Maggard, anything on the historic preservation?
I'm still looking for the flag, the person that put the flag together. So if anybody comes up with anything, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Who designed the town of Lewiston
Yes,
flag?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I did hear a story, and maybe one of you can verify it, that it was put out as a thing for the kids in school to have a contest. I don't know.
Okay. Bill, any recollection?
No, if Paulette doesn't know, I don't know.
The only thing I know is the town of Lewis has an official song.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear me sing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Mayor, Marge, with the fire in Barker, do you have any suggestions on what we should do with the archives down in the basement here?
Yes.
Will that be
I
part of?
talked to Tim Masters the other day about that, and he suggested that I get the fire cabinets, like he has in his. They could, what is it, an hour firewall? It might be a savior, because one other thing too is, like he said, we're in the basement. So it's between the fire cabinet, if I got one of those, and being in the basement, might be able to save the majority of it. So,
We'll have to look at that at budget time and make some decisions.
Yeah.
It was good news that Barker was saved so much of their material.
you're right. They had a blessing.
Thank you very much. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Are you ready? We're doing one at a time? or-
Yeah.
Move for approval of the public hearing reorganization work session, January 7th, 2019. Second.
With a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Move for approval of the town board meeting final audit, December 27th, 2018.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Audit payment, Councilman Geiger.
I have reviewed the abstract. I move for approval of the regular abstract of claims for fiscal year 2018 numbered 3992 to 4183, and for fiscal year 2019 numbered 1 to 152, and recommend the payment of the amount of $984,501.38, plus the post-audit of $399,656.24.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We just finished our department heads. Do you want to address your water problem on Pletcher Road? It's back on? Well, that's good. Okay.
Bandage.
Leaky washer. Leaky washer.
Okay. Old business, the irrigation bid awarded, you are,
So the proposals came in and they were above what we budgeted for in 2018, so we have to start the project in 2019. I'll sit and talk to my liaison, Rob, and go through the funding of it and start from there. Probably going to have to put it out into a bid package this time. It was just proposals. We had a couple estimates, and all the proposals were above the estimates, so we just scrapped that for last year. I wasn't here last 2 meetings. I caught that bug that was going around, so it was the first time to address it. So we're going to start the process again, make sure we have the funding for it. We like to do these projects at the end of the year, so we know that we have the money allocated for it.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and take that off the agenda then.
Okay. For now,
Yeah.
You should do a resolution to reject all bids.
To what?
Resolution to reject all bids.
Okay.
And we did ask for proposals. I don't know if it makes a difference, but these were proposals, so they came in with different specs and that type of thing.
Move to reject all proposals for the
Irrigation project.
irrigation bid project for Lashooter Park.
Correct.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, thanks. SPCA contract. Donna?
At the last meeting, the town board had a SPCA contract in front of them to approve. Chief Previtt brought up the concern about going out to the reservation. Myself, Steve, the SPCA, and Frank did meet and talked over some things. The discussion was then forwarded to Mr. Seaman, and he has presented you with the contract, and I'm asking for approval. Please.
Okay.
So there was some changes from the initial contract, but no changes since the last.
Right. And just so you're aware that Chief is confident in, not really a resolution, but the answers he got for the reservation. So I would like a motion to approve the SPCA contract.
The chief has no reservations about
Yeah, right.
Move for approval of the SPCA Niagara agreement dated February 1st, 2019.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. And we need a motion for...
Motion to direct the supervisor to sign said agreement.
Second. Motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work. Boards and commission appointments. I know the Zoning Board of Appeals, we need a ZBA vice chair. Councilman Guyman, I believe you've resolved that.
I've had a recommendation from the chairperson for Joseph Conti.
Okay. Second. Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
You gonna do the alternate or wait till next month?
I don't have one. Do we have one?
No, I guess not.
Yeah, because Mrs. Maggard's still an alternate.
Yeah,
But
she is-
one of them was expiring. Didn't we have two alternates?
We had an alternate, but he went to the planning board. So we have a space for an alternate on the ZBA.
If we don't have one tonight, we should wait, because I think there is a person interested.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So there'll be no other appointments. Mike, did you have anybody for the Parks and Recreation?
He just submitted an application, I believe, today, so the next meeting we'll be able to.
Okay. Thank you. New business, residents' public correspondence? Nothing? Okay. Supervisor Broderick liaison report, tax refund, grass cutting, that would be Anita and Walter Dunfast. How you doing?
I'm not sure. Hi. Do you have the?
You can tip it up a little bit if you want.
Do you have the letter that I had
Yes.
sent? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any questions you have for me?
Well, I'm familiar with it because I read it and responded to you. Nobody else is, so just kind of, a short version of exactly what happened.
We bought an abandoned house around the corner on Orchard Drive. It was in foreclosure. It had been sitting for maybe 2.5 years. Before I had thought about purchasing it, I called in August to see if there was anything outstanding, because I know when you buy a property, if there's outstanding anything, that you assume those. So when I put a bid in for the house, I wanted to make sure whether there was anything outstanding on it. And at that time, everything was paid. And I was really inquiring at that time with the water and the taxes. So right before closing, I had decided to call town hall again. I'm an accountant, so I see a lot of closing statements, so I know there's a lot of different things that can pop up on a tax bill, and I wanted to make sure. So when I talked to the girl at town hall, I was specific when I said, is there anything outstanding? I didn't make it to just the water and the taxes. Now, whether the girl thought I just meant the water and the taxes, I think I was pretty clear when because we were going right into closing. So if there was anything outstanding at that time, it would have been on the closing statement. And this tax, or in this grass cutting, I could have got the money from Wells Fargo and then turned it over to you guys when I paid the taxes. So I talked to the girl and I asked her how much the taxes would be, because I wanted to save for the upcoming tax bill. And she told me about $1,500, which it really would have been $1,500. And then I saw a town charge on that for $280. So I called town hall, and really nobody could tell me right away what it was. They had to look into it, and then they said it was a grass cutting charge. Back from June, I had called in August, and then I called in November. And I feel that when I was told, even in November, which was months later, that there was nothing outstanding on the property, if there was a chance at all that another department could have had a charge that they would have put on this bill, then I feel like I shouldn't have been told everything was paid in full. I should have been told, well, I don't see anything on the water bill, and I don't see anything on the tax bill, but we have other departments that bill. Let me check with those other departments and then get back to you. Or here's the phone number of the other departments to see if they have anything outstanding. And that didn't occur. So I feel, as a person who bought a house, that I really did my due diligence to find out if there was anything more other than the taxes and the water. And then I got a surprise on my tax bill, and it's almost $300.
Mm-hmm. Brian, do you want to?
Can I say something before Brian?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to throw this out from the way I read it. It's you can give us the legal part, but I think they did everything that like a wise and prudent man would do. You called not only once but twice. I don't know what more they could do. And I'd hope that there'd be some way that, without setting a dangerous precedent, that we could make them whole again.
The issue is that it's on the tax bill, and the tax bill, we're past the point where we can correct the tax bill, and
Well, I called the county. It's not a county. So you would collect the $1850.82, and then you would send to the county their portion. So this is a town of Lewiston bill, invoice. Town of Lewiston is looking for the money. The county.
nevertheless, you have the tax collector has to collect the entire amount of the tax bill. They can't collect a partial tax bill.
Correct.
So it's too late to change that, and the town is out that money. The town paid that money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, it's just a fine or something that no one incurred. We are actually out the money. It's been paid. So
Well, Tim, are we out the whole $280? What did we pay?
We paid $180 and the $100 is administration.
Okay. So we paid $180 and $100 is administration.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Mr. Domkowski, can I ask a quick question? Did you call the county clerk's office or the county tax department to find out what the taxes were? Or did you just call?
I called here to find out what the taxes were. in November, right before I closed on the property.
But did you also call the county at the same time, or no?
No, I called the county the other day to find out how this worked.
Understood.
Because I didn't remember, I mean, I worked
Didn't
for
know
the
at that
town
time.
20
Sure.
years, I just I don't remember any.
Because I think if you would have called the treasurer's office, or you would have found that they probably would have told you that there's this $1,500, and then there's an additional $280 lien from the.
When is that put on? When is it usually put on?
I don't know exactly what the dates are, to be honest, but
September 1st, it's put on?
Well, in your packet,
I'm sorry.
grass cutting was put in on October 11th.
it's every year at the same time. We
Goes
do
to
it.
them, and we
I
pretty much
think
close
internally, we
September
probably
1st.
should come up with a protocol to make sure we kind of tip people off to the fact that.
So it was cut 4 times?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got on here 4 grass cutting at $45 a time.
And that would be it.
And Wells Fargo won't do anything for you now? Because they're the ones who didn't cut the grass. They're the ones we billed.
It's already bought.
Yeah.
If you were a major corporation, do you think you'd send 480? I mean, as a regular guy, you'd probably maybe do something, but Wells Fargo, I mean, you're calling a call center that
Yeah, they're
has-
notoriously difficult to deal with,
Oh
too.
my gosh, they're huge.
We sent Wells Fargo the bills, correct, originally?
Yeah, and I guess
they
they
refused to
must have
pay.
ignored them, or maybe they didn't go to the right place.
Well, we sent them a violation, and they didn't even cut the grass.
Right,
So,
so we cut it. I would be inclined to waive the $100 administration. That's my, I mean, the town paid $180 to have the grass cut. I would be inclined to waive the $100 administration. I don't know what anybody else's feelings are, but that would be
I'm
mine.
in favor of that if you, out of what account would it come?
Gotta pay the whole tax bill, is it?
Yeah, they pay.
No, they've already paid that, I believe. You've paid your tax bill, right?
No, well, it's not due till the 31st.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we would have to have you pay the whole tax bill, and whatever we did would come back in some type of a refund, correct? That would be the only way we'd be able to do anything.
That'd be the only way you could do anything, yeah.
The $100.
Just a question, which I was going to ask anyway, Mr. Jacoby. What else could I have done going into that property? I mean, what else could I have done to avoid this? And again, I feel that if there were other charges that were coming from other directions, the answer shouldn't have been to me, you're good, everything's paid in full. It should have been, geez, there's some charges from other departments.
Well, there are people you could pay in Lockport to do a tax search on property, and they probably would have generated a report that would have shown that.
I don't know if it would have shown, when did you close?
I closed November,
Oh,
middle of
because it was too
November.
close to when we put it on, is what you're saying? Right.
Well, let me ask you this. If you knew there was a $280 charge, would you not bought the house?
No, but it would have went on the
Someone else would
closing
have paid it.
documents, and it would have been taken away from Wells Fargo. And then I would have
Okay, it's been off
then
the
given
other
you
side
the
of the
whole
budget.
amount with no problem. I would have
Yeah.
gotten the whole 280 and just passed it on to you guys.
If I could just suggest something, what,
Please.
Taking care of that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
you know,
Absolutely, and I'm aware, and I know that the stuff passes on to the new, which is why I made those phone calls so I could walk away from the phone calls knowing 100% what I was getting into.
Let him,
we run into this problem actually quite often is, a resident will call and depending on how they ask the question, they don't always get the answer, maybe the right answer, but it really depends on how the question is asked. And what I have experienced also is some house closings, I get the person who's purchasing the house, their attorney will actually send our department a letter to say, are there any zoning violations, any infractions we want in writing, and we send that out and we do a property search. Well, if that call would have came to our office or that letter would have came to our office, we would have told her right away.
And I think
that call didn't come to our office.
She was calling a department that,
Yeah.
where they're used to collecting a bill.
Correct.
So there's no outstanding
Yeah.
bill. And in that
Right, but
context,
that
their answer to you
person
is
should-
correct.
The person's aware that other charges could come from other departments, correct?
I
And
understand
that's
that,
that's
but-
my point there.
Sometimes it's not just that. Sometimes, I mean, this is, I mean, not easy. I'm not trying to make light of it.
Oh, no.
But my point is, there also could be, from my department, a condemnation letter attached to that to say the house is condemned and you got to do all kinds of work to bring it back to life. You know, so the only way you're going to really find that out is ask for a zoning compliance letter to say, are there any open property violations? Are there any town charges? But all those always come to our office for that.
Well, let me ask you this. For the future, is there a form that we could create that every department's aware of, that she could have come down, filled out a request, and submitted it, and it would have got passed through the town, and then she would have got a response back?
Well, like I say, if the attorney sends it, it comes to Donna, Donna forwards it to us, so that there's a process. But if a phone call comes in, depending on who answers the phone and how the question is asked, it might not get to my office. So there's a little bit of a glitch in the system in that way.
But what I'm asking is there a way to correct it? If we had a form that she could have come down and filled out, and maybe everybody was aware of it, say, if you have any concerns about a property.
Yeah, just because we have a form, it might not have solved this problem, because we could have had the form, we could have the form posted online, we could have the implementation of it in place, but if she made the same call to the same person.
But if everybody was aware of that form, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they just don't give that information out except for by form, by the form.
Yeah.
Make it exclusive to that instead of phone. You don't have to
That's
go
a
to phone.
good idea.
Right.
That's a very good idea.
I have one every once in a while.
Because then you have no choice then to fill out the
Right,
form.
right.
And then the correct information would have been given back to me, and that would have solved this problem. See, I helped out in
So
some
anybody
small
else
way.
have an opinion?
Let's just,
I go for it.
I'm sorry. Al?
I was just gonna say I agree
With what?
with the forgiving the $100.
Administration.
If you.
The administration fee.
Can we do that?
Yeah, yes, I believe as a board we can, yes.
That's
But-
the water department.
Well, no, it wouldn't be the water department.
It
It's
would
the,
be-
it's from the building department, and that goes into the general fund, right?
The B fund.
The B fund.
B fund.
So it would be a waiver of the administration fee. Now, what is your opinion on it?
I think it sounds like that's all we can do. It's, once it's on the taxes, it doesn't look like something we can alter, correct?
You can't change the tax bill.
Yeah.
That's up to the county.
Or the town could pay the other 180.
We don't have any procedure. It's got to be shown a valid purpose and given for a valid reason.
Then we'd be out 360.
Right. The taxpayers did pay to cut the lawn.
This sounds like one of those things where the guy comes in and says, "Here, I'll give you 20. Now give me the 20 back up." I think the administrative fee is the only thing we can do,
Okay.
right?
Well, then I look for a motion to credit back $100 of the $280 town charge.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
I'm gonna,
You understand, our hands are tied.
Somewhat.
They really are tied.
I know a couple of you guys are good guys. I know if there's something you could do or you thought you could.
Yeah.
I hope I'm one of those guys. There's
I-
several people that don't.
let's leave it at a couple.
I
We
really
can still go to
do
bed
feel-
tonight.
I understand that there's probably nothing you can do. If I didn't feel this with everything I had, I wouldn't have been here.
I understand.
I feel the 280 should be, but if there's nothing you can do, then
Well,
there's nothing you can do.
How about this? How about a promise that I will work with Tim starting tomorrow, or I'm sorry, he's next week, on getting a form and taking care of this matter so it doesn't happen again. I mean, that's the best.
No, and I appreciate the 100, I appreciate anything.
Okay.
And I appreciate you guys.
And we acknowledge that it's an actual problem. We acknowledge it.
So
I think
going, forward, do I deduct the $100?
No. You gotta pay, you pay it, and then we'll refund you the $100.
The mechanism we have to work out.
Do I need to send an invoice to the town, or do you gonna do that internally?
I'll let you know. I've got your number here. I think I got
She'll
your
fill out a
number.
voucher.
Yeah. I'll send you something. I'll let you know. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna recuse myself. I've known Anita and her husband for years, so I'm gonna recuse myself.
You mow their lawn?
I'll come and mow it.
Exactly.
Then over half the board should recuse themselves.
We're all gold.
I'm everywhere.
Well, then there's only one other big guy besides Rob. Okay. So
he would vote for you.
all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you for hearing it.
See, now we're not on the good side.
Yeah, I know. Legal, Mr. Seaman with the local law.
There arose a question as to whether or not our town historian can serve on the zoning board of appeals. I did some legal research into it. I could find no prohibition in state law. There's a whole body of law called compatibility of offices. And I couldn't find anything that said our historian couldn't serve on the ZBA. But then I found tucked away in our own town code a line that seemed to indicate that she wouldn't be able to. I don't know of any other towns that have that prohibition. And I found, when I was looking through it, we also have that same thing on the planning board. So at Supervisor Broderick's request, I drafted a local law that would remove that prohibition from the town code and allow somebody to serve as both a ZBA or planning board member and some other office in the town, as long as they're compatible. If it's an incompatible office, they couldn't do it, but, you know, the town historian, there's really no conflict for that person being on the zoning board of appeals. So that's what the law does. If you're interested in passing it, one member of the board would have to introduce it tonight, and then you would schedule it for a public hearing at next month's meeting.
Move to introduce the local law removing certain limitations for members of the zoning board of appeals and planning board. And set a public, you want 2 resolutions, Brian?
The introduction's done, you did that, now just a motion to
Set a public hearing.
motion to set a public hearing.
And motion to set a public hearing for February 11th at 6 o'clock?
Second. For both subsections?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in
That
favor?
gives you enough time for the publication down.
What's today?
Or should we do it at the next,
Yeah, we probably should do it at the board meeting.
Amend to accept the date of February 25th.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. The only conflict is it's Mrs. Maggard's in my office more than she is now.
Right, yeah, on the zoning board, the 14th of February?
You're still on it, you've never sent a resignation letter.
Well, no, she's on as an alternate. She wants to be a full member.
Well, that would be, that's a different question, you'd have to appoint her.
Okay, should we wait till this change is incorporated?
Makes sense.
So, okay. Moving on, Brian, approve the Teamsters Police Collective Bargaining Agreement.
So this was something that was passed on to me from Mr. Parisi, and they've been involved in negotiations. I understand that there's already a verbal understanding, but the actual contract had not been approved and signed. So that was signed by the Teamsters and forwarded, and we just need a resolution approving the police collective bargaining agreement for operating supervisor to sign.
Make a motion to approve the Teamsters Police Collective Bargaining Agreement.
As negotiated. Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign same.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Also, we need to hire a lawyer. We have a lawsuit filed against us, and Mr. Seaman does not have the time to do it. We have a letter I placed in front of everybody from Ned Perlman, who we've used before in contract negotiations. I was very satisfied with Mr. Perlman's contract negotiations, so I would make need a motion to hire Ed Perlman at a rate of $225 an hour.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
You should just state which suit it is. It's it's modern.
Modern Disposal Services versus the Town of Lewiston. All those in favor?
Steve, we might point out, just for the sake of the people who are here, $225 an hour sounds like a lot, but it's actually at the low end of the scale for this type of as hard as that is to believe, it's at the low end of the scale. There's guys not coming in and really pounding us. If that's any consolation.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Also, I would like a motion to have our grant writer, Connie Miner, reach out to New York State Archives for a grant, for records grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
No.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
I had a question. Is that going to be for the electronic?
No. It's for a records.
Okay.
Payroll, I think payroll and something else. Payroll. We have, what do we have, 65 years of records or something like that? Yeah, so.
Can we do something for the electronic?
We can look into it. You're meeting with her next week,
so it's
right?
not the same thing at all that she's doing? Or is there, would that be incorporated, or should I do it separately?
Separate. You would talk, because it's got to be an ASAP. So.
And if that's the case, then is the town in need of that as well? Because I'll talk to them about both.
We met with her, and Amy was the only one that had records that needed to be.
Okay. Finance. Jackie.
Tonight I have total budget revisions from 2018 as well as 2019. You have them all in front of you. Number 1 through 9 is for 2018. The first one is in the professional report fees. I'm requesting to move $676 to the professional report fees budget from the budget officer contractual budget to cover a deficit in that area budget due to additional professional fees associated with the ban for the water project.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Number 2 is to move $1,345 to the recreation ice rink contractual budget from the recreational seasonal personnel ice rink budget to cover the deficit in the contractual budget in the ice rink.
Move for approval as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Number 3 is a request to move $1,000 even to the senior center contractual budget from the senior center personnel budget to cover the deficit in the contractual from unused personnel.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Number 4 is in the police department. They received a grant to cover equipment. So I'd like to receive approval to increase the revenue budget by $7,400, the amount of the grant, as well as their equipment budget. This was a grant to use to purchase rifles, ballistic vests, and helmets.
Move for approval with pleasure.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one is also in the police department. I request to move $3,000 even from the police contractual budget, to the police contractual budget from the police equipment budget to cover a deficit in the contractual for 2018.
Move for approval as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
The next one is in the highway department. The request is for $1,190 to the highway employment insurance budget from the highway insurance budget. That's their general insurance budget.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one is in the sewer department, SS1. Request to move $18,565 to the treatment and disposal contractual budget from the treatment and disposal personnel budget.
Move for approval as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one is also in the sewer department, SS1. The request is to move $9,682 to the treatment and disposal gas and electric budget from the treatment and disposal personnel budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one is in the South Sewer SS3 department. The request is to move $400 even to the South Sewer gas and electric budget from the South Sewer contractual budget.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next set of revisions I'm going to request are for 2019. All but one are to cover the additional increase in our workers' compensation bill for 2019. I'll go through them one at a time. The first one is in the police department. The request is to move $38,414 to their workers' comp budget from the D fund contingency budget. The workers' compensation bill was received after we adopted our 2019 budget.
Move for approval as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next is within the highway department, requesting to move $8,562 to their worker compensation budget from their seasonal help personnel budget.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second.
Can I
All those in favor?
discussion on
Question.
this?
Yep.
Is this prorated? What? I'm a little confused on this.
We are rated on our workers' compensation for our accidents, claims
No, I
that
know
are
how
put
it
in.
works.
It's a 3-year average that we receive. We did implement an increase, but the bill overall was increased 65%, which we did
Okay.
not account for.
For that, I know we talked about that before.
Workers' compensation
Yeah.
does like a cyclical thing, up and down, and right now we are on an up. Probably next year as well, we will be on an up. We have received some pretty big claims recently in a couple of departments.
All right. Okay.
Is that what you were asking, Rob? When you said, is it prorated?
Right. Is it by our payroll? Obviously, I think it's done
By the claims.
Right.
Yeah.
And the claims, right. Okay.
We are, I have reached out to the Association of Towns, and Amy is reaching out to the Niagara County Workers' Comp. We're trying to see if there's anything, any type of training or anything we can do to reduce our rate.
Is there a group or something we
Something.
can?
Safety trainings.
Wow.
Exactly. We're
Okay.
waiting to hear.
Any more questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one is in the Fire Protection Fund, SFO. Request to move $9,565 to their workers' compensation budget from their fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one is within the sewer department, the SS1, requesting to move $609 to their worker compensation budget using their leachate revenue budget. So I will be increasing the revenue budget as well as the expense budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next one is within the water department, requesting to move $6,284 to their workers' compensation budget from their equipment budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The last budget revision is requested to move $817 to the taxes municipal property budget from the A fund contingency budget to cover the increase in 2019 property taxes on our municipal properties.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Jackie, in regards to workers' compensation,
Yes.
that bill came in so late, or that notification?
Yes.
Is that normal that it comes in that late?
No, we usually receive it before we normally get it before the budget is complete.
Was there any explanation as why it was so late?
No, but we're going to get on them earlier this year to get a better idea of where we're going to stand in 2019 for 2020.
Because that was quite an adjustment.
It absolutely was.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Is that it?
It is. Thank you.
Councilman Bax.
Oh, we forgot somebody.
Skip me, man.
Oh, did I? Oh, I apologize. Engineering, advertising bid.
That's it, yeah, just, we've been working with the town departments to try to put a final scope together for the police and park storage building. We've got some comments back from Mr. Seaman on some of the edits he'd like to see on the front end, so we're ready to go. We'd just like permission from the board to authorize us to advertise for construction, or for bid for the construction of the project.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Bax.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilman Guyben.
Professor Ababanza has been laid up, and we have not been able to get together to finalize our schedule for what is happening. Right now, it's being posted to YouTube, so that's one thing. As far as still getting it to Lockport, I'm a little gray on how that's transpiring. Roland, do you know when it's going to Lockport?
Not sure yet, but there are currently 2 videos on YouTube right now.
Yes, I've seen them. And everyone gets a little better as we project, and today it'll be fantastic with our assistant.
Thank you very much. Councilman Jacoby.
Excuse me, just to find it, just go onto YouTube and search for Town of Lewiston.
Under what title? Do you?
It should be Town of Lewiston.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. It is. Councilman Jacoby.
I have one thing. I was at the Fire Bureau meeting the other night, and they brought up the situation with the computers for the BAS system. And the building department budgeted for new computers, I think, in recognition of the volume that they do and whatnot, in order to handle this new system. I think that Les Myers was under the impression that his computers were adequate to handle it. And as it turns out, they're barely adequate. And we'd be penny wise and pound foolish to load this brand new program on, train all the people to use it, and then a month down the road have the computer system blow up because it can't handle it. And then we'd have a system sitting there idle for 10 months, and what do? Retrain the people at the end of 10 months? So I talked to Les and I talked to Jackie, and Les has agreed to spend $600 from his equipment and another line.
500 from his equipment and 100 from his contractual.
Yes, and Jackie was able to unearth $500, which, as you know, it's not easy to do. But I think it's money well spent. And
where did you unearth it from?
From
Which one?
The contingency.
The contingency. So, go ahead.
Believe me, I'm not. Give you a little background. So I was at another liaison meeting where they asked for $5,000. I said, for what? And they said, well, for stuff.
And you don't go for it.
I said, well, you have to be somewhat more specific than that. This is a specific purpose. It's money well spent. And I'm sure that Les, when it comes time to computerize next year, if he needs one, he'll budget for it.
If you make the motion, I'll be more than glad to second it.
I make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any more questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Councilman Morial.
The planning board in a regular session on January 17th, 2019, reviewed a one-lot subdivision request from L&K Realty Associates, LLC, Legacy Drive, SPL number 101.12-1-9.12, located on the south side of Legacy Drive. The planning board classified the action as a minor subdivision to be treated as a minor. Board recommends approval of the subdivision. I'd like to make a motion to accept the planning board's recommendation.
Second.
Motion is second.
You should do a secret resolution first.
I didn't get nothing on that.
It was done. They did a short form, and
Let me look.
Sam is the compliance.
Sure,
officer.
from out the letters.
Filled out the part 2 on
So that would be a motion to accept the negative deck on the seeker.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now make your motion.
Make a motion to accept the planning board's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I only got one call about the trees coming down, and I had to explain about the drainage and how all that has to work. The person that called me was very appreciative. Yes. But they understood.
Go
So
ahead.
you'd be out there planting trees.
Yeah, I did it. Oh, I had 2 copies.
Yeah. No, I did it.
Oh, I had 2 copies.
No.
Okay.
Now the street
Usually
lighting.
you go through 2 of them. Okay, go ahead.
A street lighting request on Roosevelt Avenue. Had a resident asked to have another light put in, and I had engineering and inspections look at it along with myself and Councilman Jacoby. And with engineering and inspection both saying it's not needed, and I also got to agree with that. I'd like Donna to send a letter and just tell her that we're not going to be putting another light in there. There's 4 lights in a little circle street already, 4 street lights.
Does not meet our standard for an additional light.
Not at all. And as myself and Bob were talking, it's not to light up backyards, it's to light up the street, so, and that's why they're,
Okay.
so you'll send them a letter on that then?
Thank you for looking into it, and thank you, Tim and Bob, for looking into it.
Thank
you. Resident statements, I don't have anybody signed up. Go ahead, Paulette.
The fact that Mr. Morial had not seen the seeker and yet you had, I haven't seen minutes from the environmental committee for a long time. Are they still coming through?
Yes.
Are they being done?
Hit and miss.
I can't find them online, nothing reported since the middle of last year.
Donna?
You had that.
They've all been submitted. They can get printed out. We just have to make sure they get online. They're all submitted.
But you had
They
the
are?
format,
All
so
2018.
All
was submitted.
2018. Okay, we'll find out.
We'll get them on, we'll get them online, if they were all submitted.
we
Yeah.
did actually have the secret
Yeah.
form in our packets, but Rob usually gets a letter which would indicate that the
That's a
negative deck.
and
It's, you don't have the tendency to dig deep because you don't ever need to do that usually.
We get nervous up here. Paulette, go ahead.
Owen, I couldn't hear this. Doing sound?
Yeah, it's
I couldn't hear this. Okay, I've got 2 prongs. I've done this before and I'll do it again. We passed a resolution about giving us the information before the meetings. And the information is online. I understand it's in the website and it's still working the kinks out.
No, what information are you talking about?
The local law was
The local law was not given to me, and there's copies of it on the desk there.
The local law's back there?
Yep.
But usually, like I said, it's online, so thank you.
Well, I didn't have it.
The other one, I asked this question a while back, and I never really got an answer from Mr. Green, so I'll try it with you. Is it required by law to post the resolution or the local law prior to voting on it?
to post it where?
On your website, or even give it to the public prior to voting?
A resolution, no.
A resolution, no. A local law, yes?
A local law has to be advertised and it has to be available.
Okay. So, and a local law is required that the public has to get it prior to being voted,
It has to be available.
made available.
Right.
But a resolution, no.
No, a council member could make a resolution tonight and move it and have it seconded and voted on tonight.
Thank you. I finally got my answer.
We did a lot of resolutions.
Thank you. Anybody else? Lady in the back row, would you like to speak? No? You sure? Yeah. Very distracting, by the way. Okay. Upcoming boards, commissions, meetings, town board work session will be February 11th at 6 p.m. Environmental Commission, February 12th at 7 p.m. Historic Preservation, February 12th at 6 p.m.
Could you change that to February the 19th, please?
Oh, no, it's,
Okay, February 19th at 6 p.m.
For preservation?
Historic Preservation, 19th, 6 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals, February 14th at 6:30 p.m. Planning Board, February 21st, 6:30 p.m. Town Hall is closed on President's Day, February 18th. And our regular town board meeting, which isn't on here, is February 25th, I believe. Just to double check. Yes, February 25th at 6 p.m. I'd like,
There's no court on Wednesday night, is there?
I don't
think
know.
there is.
Yeah, there's court every Tuesday and Wednesday.
If by some chance town hall gets closed on Wednesday, how would we notify people? Put it on our website?
I don't know, whatever happens if court's closed, if the building closes, what does the court do?
If we close the building, I have ways to contact 2, 4, and 7. And then I put it on the website. And a note on the door. The old-fashioned way.
It's the school teacher in them. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the board meeting tonight, and motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.